We got another one for you, another exciting one. This is a square dance in the the Warriors Wrestling Arena, which is basically our women roster, or our women's show in general. As if you guys don't know, last year a couple of years ago, we started kind of pushing the fact that women are just as tough as men, and there's an audience out there who want to see just as many women in dream matches as anything else, as we have now.
And here we go.
4 of the women who won tournaments to get into this thing. So let me tell you what this is all about here. We are going to have a couple matches tonight that you might be wondering why we're having them. And the fact of the matter is with the soon departing of a certain current person on the WWE roster, since our Dream Master show is going to be taking a little bit of a interesting thing, we're going to actually, give you guys more of a show than we have before. And what we're going to do also is kind of show you guys a little bit, little sneak peeks on what the other guys are doing versus what we can do as whatnot. But basically what this is all about is we got little storylines, of course, like anywhere else. But here's what's going to happen here. So there's a certain extreme genius minded manager who, in real life, is managing the current person known as the Beast Incarnate of that of that company. So what people wanted is to see, if he could possibly, manage them. So what he decided to do is, have a little tournament to kind of put together his new kind of faction, if you would, to become a PH guy or girl. So basically what he's looking for is one main guy to get behind, and also a tag team to get behind, as well as a talented woman who might need his help to get some direction. So let me just tell you who we have in this thing. We got the current Raw Women's Champion, UFC legend, and Hall of Famer Ronda Rousey, along with Asuka, who those two are fighting outside. Asuka is the former Women's Champion on both. Very talented individual, very tough. And of course Sasha Banks is Sasha Banks. And the last person you may not recognize, unless you're familiar with our show a lot, is the current leader of the Page Turners and the former member of the Ladies of Vengeance Enterprises, the hardcore icon, the hardcore legend Bethany Page Dunn, and she's, they're all wanting to become kind of PH girls. So one of these 4 will be joining his stable, and after all this is done and said, later on, going forward, there will be the faction. You will see. And as Ronda Rousey goes on the pin on Bethany Page, and ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly the way it should be. This is a square dance, which means we follow the old ways it used to be, where you got to keep going and eliminate every individual in the ring until you got one sole winner. That was actually came up with in the old ECW, in which the person who they want to manage them is the great mastermind of how this would work. So, as we see Ronda Rousey and Asuka decking Sasha, and it's too bad that Bethany Page didn't get in. I know that in talking to her in the locker room, I know she was really excited, but I'm sure it's not the end of it. But I'm also not so sure that that's the end of this Ronda Rousey and Bethany Page thing, as one of our key matches coming up on our main card, which will take place on Saturday. Remember, we have a 4-day show. This is the first of those 3 days. This is kind of the opening kind of bonus matches, if you would, that you would normally get at the beginning of a show that no one really gets to see, unless you have, access to those things. Well, we're giving you guys an actual show to enjoy over that. So that's kind of what we're kind of doing. That's what we think we should do anyway. So, and I do know that access, and that the company WWE is having access in New York right now, and that's kind of cool too. But they have the matches of course, so that's cool too. And I guess they're having like a match or two. Well, when I heard that, I said that's cool that they're doing that for the people there. But if you're people like anyone else, unless you're there, you're not really going to know. So we thought we'd give you what we're going to give you, a little warm-ups. A lot of these things you're going to see are little hints towards our show. We kind of stick to our own kind of, we have an actual, storyline and a format, to be honest with you, but... Although Asuka caught Ronda Rousey with a chokehold.
This is exactly what Asuka was waiting for.
Asuka's looking for a tap out here on the current Raw Women's Champion, and let's go. As Banks goes for the cover.
1, 2, 3.
Oh! Imagine that. Sasha Banks steals a pin. Asuka does the dirty work. She lets go, and Sasha Banks wins for the cover. As now Asuka's trying to get Sasha Banks to tap. Banks gets out.
She escapes the hold. Just when it looked like her night was over, too.
Can you imagine one of these women will be joining and getting his managerial services? He's done wonders for the current guy, I'll tell you that much.
She goes for the cover.
As Asuka goes for a pin on Sasha and gets a 2 count.
Surviving on heart and the skin of her teeth.
This is the new Women Warriors Arena. So it's been very well designed, I'd have to say. Women always wanted their own kind of ring, and one that specifies to them. So we had a poll on our old one of our shows prior. We asked you guys, what do you want to see for a women's arena? And, all of this stuff you may not know, we do take you guys as suggestions for what we do for your show. I mean, as much as we love putting it together, a lot of the things you see on our show aren't really stuff we put together. Aren't really like, things we do on a regular. We honestly have been going strong. We were just honored at PAX for our work on this particular site. So I appreciated that for being kind of an innovator of this type of, genre, if you would. And Asuka taps out to Sasha Banks. And if you guys would have guessed in the beginning of the Smash that Sasha Banks would become a Heyman girl, you would be wrong. By the way, a shout out to Mr. Heyman. I hope I don't want to get sued or anything, but I don't own the rights, of course, to any of that. But I want to tell you on first-hand experience, I have a great deal of respect for Mr. Heyman.
Almost forgot about this one.
I have always enjoyed the things he's done. I think he's one of the greatest minds in wrestling, which is why I think a lot of the time when you have a person of different statures who need a little boost to kind of help them get to places, Heyman is one of those guys that can make magic out of nothing. So, big shout out to one of the greatest minds in wrestling, Paul Heyman. I doubt he'll see this, but if he does, enjoy, my friend, and best of luck. And next, let's get some more action coming your way, folks. We're not done yet. That's only 2 of 6. See you in a couple.